Okay, welcome to the Beacon Historical Society. This exhibition is about the majestic Mount Beacon and the Incline Railway. And we're going to start in case number 1 in gallery, the Denny G. and Karen Meyer galleries, about the early settlers and in our area, which were the Wappingers. And we have a model of the Henry Hudson, as well as fishing weights from the Native Americans. On the lower case, we have the first example of the early settlers on Mount Beacon as sheep farmers. We also have 3 silent films of D.W. Griffith that were made here in 1909 and 1910. They're playing on the video behind you. And in the display case, we have the DAR Monument and information about the beacons of fire that were set during the Revolutionary War period.
Well, there's another map.
This is a limerick dedicated to Millio Bettina. It's called Millio. From Blenheim to Groville, the news was bad. Likewise, up and down the drag. The saloons were still. The traffic was nil. Billy Kahn had beaten the Beacon lad. That was the great fight in 1939. Billy Kahn, Millio Bettina. Millie had been the light heavyweight champion of the world. Although Billy Kahn wasn't the one who beat him in that fight. But there it is. Dedicated to Millio Bettina, a great gentleman. And pride of Beacon.
Yep. That's what it was on the website. He's going to be.
Diane, at some point.
Is the ribbon, the ropes against the wall? Oh, yes.
It's nice, right?
So much about history that is
No, that was Maureen, and she's right here. This is Maureen. Hi, I'm Janine Berkey.
I mean, hanging on for dear
I'm exhausted, but I don't want to sit down.
Hello and welcome. Can you hear me in the back? Wave your hands in the way back if you can hear me. Great, thank you.
One person.
I am so overjoyed to see all your wonderful faces, especially without masks on. It's nice. Thank you. So I'm Diane Lapis, President of the Beacon Historical Society, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to thank you all for coming to us on this historic day. The Beacon Historical Society was founded in 1976 with a mission to procure, promote, and preserve Beacon's history. We started our organization in small quarters at the library, then moved to the Howland Cultural Center, then 17 South Avenue at the former rectory of St. Andrews. And here we are at this magnificent building, thanks to Father Richard at St. Joachim's and Trustee Gary Barrett. We are forever grateful to the church for welcoming us to their campus. Thank you, Gary. We would like to recognize a few people that are here today. Our Representative Sue Serino, if you could just raise your hand, thank you. Representative Jonathan Jacobson should be here shortly. He had another event up in Poughkeepsie. Mayor Lee Kiriakou is here. And members from our city council, if you could raise your hand, please. We also have Brad Kendall, the Dutchess County Clerk. And Will Tatum, the Dutchess County Historian. And many members from our Dutchess County Historical Societies, if you could raise your hand as well. And any from Orange County or let's see. We want to thank our partners for our exhibition, which were Scenic Hudson, New York State Parks, Katie and Jerry Bell, David Rocco, David Turner, Brenda Murnane, Donald Mickelson, and Harv Hillowitz. And special thanks to the Beacon Chamber of Commerce. So this day and the Beacon Historical Headquarters would not be possible without our amazing and dedicated trustees and volunteers. So please raise your hand if you're one of our trustees. Thank you, trustees. And our wonderful volunteers, who are our trustees are also volunteers. But there's so many volunteers here. Please raise your hand. Thank you. I think our oldest volunteer is George, and he might be 94 now. There's George. Yeah, George. And of course, our members who have supported us and enjoyed our lectures, exhibitions, special events, and helped build our archives over the years. Now we're going to begin our ribbon cutting and dedication ceremony. Afterwards, please come in, if you haven't come inside, to visit our new home and see the exhibition, Majestic Mount Beacon and the Incline Railway. First, we'd like to recognize our partners in history, Denny and Karen Meyer, who are right here. If you just raise your hand. They have been stalwart supporters of BHS for many years now. We consider Denny our in-house visionary, always bringing forward-thinking and brilliant ideas to the table, such as ways to engage the community, our members and donors, and improvements to our headquarters. Denny truly understands the value and appreciates all that the Historical Society brings to both our city and the historical community at large. His understanding and support helps us to achieve our mission. We are also thankful to Karen for her enthusiasm as a volunteer at BHS. In recognition of the Meyers' contributions and Denny's ability to plan the future, we are delighted to name the Southside Galleries the Dennis G. and Karen I. Meyer Galleries. Next, we'd like to recognize Arthur and Mary Lou Johnson for their support of the Historical Society. Arthur and Mary Lou were born and raised in Beacon, but have lived in Baltimore for many years. A few years back, the Johnsons were visiting Beacon and discovered us at the Spirit of Beacon Day. Intrigued, Arthur inquired if there were any articles about his parents in the local papers or in our archives. Indeed, there were. Both parents, Arthur Sr. and Rita, worked at Arrow Leather and other local industries throughout their work years. Arthur was involved in the Republican Party, active with Lewis Tompkins Hose, the Elks, and local baseball leagues. Rita was the first director of the Beacon Recreation Commission, organized the Beacon Little League Auxiliary, and was an active bowler. Arthur's parents, Arthur and Rita Johnson, typified the average citizen of Beacon in their time, hardworking and civically engaged, who helped form the foundation for a strong community. Therefore, in recognition of the Johnsons' contributions and in honor of his parents, we are delighted to name the library the Arthur and Rita Johnson Library. We would also like to recognize the Mount Beacon Incline Railway Restoration Society, Jeff, or where are you standing there for? Okay, for choosing us to be the stewards of their archives and assets. The mountain and its incline railway were integral parts of Beacon's history. We are excited to dedicate a gallery to continue telling the mountain's multifaceted story. Thank you to Jeff McHugh, former president of the Incline Railway Society, and Barbara Sprachia, which I think she's working in the kitchen right now, our BHS trustee, for their leadership through this transition. So thank you, Jeff. While ribbon-cutting ceremonies symbolize a new beginning, we would not be here without the strong foundation Bob Murphy provided with his lifetime contributions of research, writing, presenting, and preserving historical documents and artifacts. More importantly, Bob brought history to life and wanted anyone who walked in the door to feel triumphant as they discovered a piece of the city's or their own past. I would like to share with you some words from trustee Denise Van Buren, who truly sums up our thoughts and feelings about our former president, city historian, and friend Bob Murphy, for whom we are dedicating our new headquarters. And I quote from Denise: "I express my deepest regret that prior travel commitments kept me from attending today's ceremony in honor of our beloved late city historian, Bob Murphy. It was one of my life's highest honors to co-author 2 books with him and then edit a volume of his lifetime of work after his passing. As you all know, Bob was a remarkable human being. A dry sense of humor, a kind heart, and a deep love for his hometown and his family distinguished his too short life. But what a legacy he left for us." Bob prided himself as an expert photographer, a thorough researcher, and a capable writer. The rest of us knew him. The rest of us knew him as a perfectionist, a walking encyclopedia of Beacon knowledge, and a deeply loyal friend. He was more modest about his talents than anyone whom I have ever met. Wouldn't he be so uncomfortable here today in this limelight? My life was infinitely richer for having met Bob 35 years ago. I will forever treasure the memory of his gentleness, the warmth of his humor, the depth of our friendship, and the true joy he brought to discovering the history of his beloved Beacon. All of that will now live on here at the Robert J. Murphy Beacon History Research Center, where his spirit will surely guide us to carry on life's work. At this time, I'd like to invite Senator Serino to speak a few words. Senator? I don't know if you want to come up.
Thank you so much, Diane. What a special day. And I know you have your heart and soul into the Historical Society, and it really shows when you speak and how much you love it, and everyone else too. I can't thank you enough. And I have fond memories of the mountain when I was a kid. My mom used to take us on hikes, because we grew up in Wappingers. my husband's whole family is from Beacon, so it's really nice to be here today with each and every one of you. And I have certificates for the families. I don't know, do you want me to just give those to you?
Well, they're actually right here.
This one for you, for the Beacon Historical Society, thanking you.
Oh, thank you.
Denny Karen, I have a certificate of recognition for you as well. Thank you. Thank you guys. Director and Mary Lou Johnson is a certificate for you. Thank you, and recognizing you. Thank you.
Yes, Diane.
Hi, Diane. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Will Mr. Jacobson kindly come up? Oh, there you are. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, that's better. Thank you very much for inviting me. I grew up in Newburgh, so Beacon is not unfamiliar, but I believe that what we need to do is people have to learn the history, why people settled here, why they're still settling here. And I think by learning how this area grew and why it grew and what it had to offer in the past and what it has to offer in the future will put us in good shape going forward. So with that, I'd like to give a certificate of merit to the Historical Society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And can Mayor Leeds kindly come up?
Thank you, Diane. I don't have any certificates of recognition. I mostly have thank yous. I am a student of history. I was a history major in college, and I focused on ancient history. As a Greek, you probably understand why, and also on 20th century world history. And Santayana said, those who ignore history are bound to make the same mistakes. And it reads as true then as it does today. I wear yellow and blue for a reason today, and I hope you all understand why. I read a book, my most recent book I read is called Origin, and it's on the genetic and archaeological underpinnings of the peopling of the Americas. And the first Americans, there's an interesting controversy. The view is they definitely came from Asia over the Bering Land Bridge during the Ice Ages. But the question was, did they come down between the ice glaciers into the middle of America, or do they also come down the coast? What's been concluded recently because of DNA is that the first Americans were here further back than we thought. It was not just 12 to 14,000 years ago, but it's more like in the 20,000 years ago. And more, that there were multiple paths. We don't know much more about the history. It picks up, about 2,000 years ago, knowing that the Wappingers we're on their land, and they're the first known settlers of our space. Then we've got the Dutch, the English, I'm going to get somebody wrong here, the French, Africans, both enslaved and not, followed by, let's see, Germans, Irish, Northern Europeans, Southern Europeans, don't forget the Greeks, Eastern Europeans, Asians, and then in the latter years, the second movement of Africans, Americans from the South, and then Latinos as well. So we're an incredibly diverse community. Our history is important. We were a critical Revolutionary War participant, Civil War participant, both of the world wars. We went through our decline as a manufacturing community, and we have now done our rebirth. So the history is important. I just want to say that this is an incredibly important part of our history that you're preserving. There's much more to do, and thank you so much.
I'd like to invite Diane Murphy. She's our vice president and a sister, one of the sisters of Bob Murphy.
On behalf of the Murphy family,
On behalf of the Murphy family, I would like to thank the Beacon Historical Society for honoring our brother by dedicating this building as the Robert J. Murphy Research Center. My sisters Barbara, Linda, Kathleen, and Maureen and I are very, very proud of this moment. Bob's involvement with the Beacon Historical Society spanned almost 4 decades. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob, for using your photography skills learned from our father to copy and develop hundreds of images in the darkroom in our basement. Our photo file upstairs, filled with your reproductions, is a testament to that. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for 38 years of writing the newsletter. When you first started writing, our mailing list was less than 40 and done on a mimeograph machine. Now it's close to 400. Our members loved your monthly news written in your unique style, and this was one of the reasons why our membership grew so rapidly. Thank you, Bob, for 20 years of leadership as our president. We enjoyed many monthly slideshows and PowerPoint presentations, learning so much from your knowledge. Your presentations were always lively, witty, and reflected your love of history. And that probably was Bob's greatest gift, his love of history that he so generously shared with all of us. He shared it through his photos, his writings, his programs, his 2 books that he co-authored with Denise Van Buren, and all those Thursday mornings and Saturday afternoons he chatted history with all of you, poring over old maps and answering your questions. In conclusion, I know that Bob would be very happy if he could see the VHS tape. He certainly would have loved our new location with our majestic mountains and our own backyard. And the fact it's only a 5-minute walk from our house. He would have loved this spacious old house, each room filled with history. I don't think he would love our steep stairs. And he would be very proud of the direction Diane Lapis has taken our organization these past years. So I thank you, VHS, and everyone attending this afternoon.
Stay right here. So on this day of May 14th, 2022, on the 109th anniversary of the City of Beacon's creation, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Beacon Historical Society, it is my honor to dedicate our headquarters at 61 Leonard Street in Beacon, New York, after Robert J. Murphy, in recognition for his dedication to the history of Beacon as his own memory keeper and storyteller. And now we're going to do the ribbon cutting for our grand reopening. Oh, okay. And here are all official scissors from my basement. And we are officially reopened. So now, if you haven't had a chance to see the exhibition, please do so, and take a few minutes to enjoy our Partners in History donor recognition wall. It's right in the center hallway, and a beautiful photo collage of Bob Murphy in the map room. Please make sure that you wear a mask inside the building and use this hand sanitizer. Please sign our guest book, which is in the back, and feel free to view the library on the 2nd floor. And what else? We have bathrooms in the kitchen and also in the library if you need a bathroom. Refreshments will be served on the back porch. I hope you all go over there because we bought plenty. And if you have any questions, see any of our trustees. If you would care to become a member, membership is only $25 per individual, and you get a monthly newsletter. We have carried on the tradition of Bob's newsletters with Denise Van Buren's incredible research and writing. So every month you will get a newsletter, and your support helps us maintain our building, our rent, our heat, buying archival materials. So if you are not a member or wish to renew or care to make a donation, please see one of our trustees. And we also have our gift shop open, so please see any of us as well. Oh, yes. In November, I could do announcements for a long time, but the big one is in November, usually the Tuesday after, or Thursday after Election Day, right? Thursday after Election Day, we have our amazing event at the Roundhouse, which is right over here, which is our major fundraiser, which helps to pay the rent for the year. But if you're interested in our other lecture series and events, I do have brochures and flyers out on the table. We have a guest speaker from France, Julian Ichet, who's going to be speaking about the Marquis de Lafayette's historic tour in 1824-1825, which will be right at the Beacon High School Theater on June 6th. We're having a postcard show, so all of that information is on the table at the back. If you have any questions, please see me. And thank you so much for a wonderful day.
I wish.